Just as I got there, the door opened, and an angel-faced blonde wearing nothing but a cotton T-shirt appeared in it. Not a long shirt, either. It didn't cover all of her rib cage. "Oh," she drawled, with a slow and sleepy smile. "Excuse me. I didn't know anyone else was here." Without a trace of modesty, she slunk into the living room, pawing through the mess near the fireplace, extracting pieces of clothing. From the languid, satisfied way she moved, I figured she expected me to be staring at her, and that she didn't mind it at all. At one time, I would have been embarrassed as hell by this kind of thing, and probably sneaking covert glances. But after living with my half-brother, the incubus, for most of the year, I mostly found it annoying. I rolled my eyes and asked, "Thomas?" "Tommy? Shower, I think," the girl said. She slipped into jogging wear, sweatpants, a matching jacket, expensive shoes. "Do me a favor. Tell him that it—" I interrupted her in an impatient voice. "That it was a lot of fun, you'll always treasure it, but that it was a one-time thing, and you hope he grows up to find a nice girl or be president or something." She stared at me and then knitted her blonde brows into a frown. "You don't have to be such a bast—" Then her eyes widened. "Oh. I'm sorry. Oh, my God." She leaned toward me, blushing, and said in a between-us-girls whisper, "I would never have guessed that he was with a man. How do the two of you manage on that tiny bed?" I blinked and said, "Now, wait a minute." But she ignored me and walked out, murmuring, "He's such a naughty boy." I glared at her back, then I glared at Mouse. Mouse's tongue lolled out in a doggy grin, his dark tail waving gently. "Oh, shut up," I told him and closed the door. I heard the whisper of water running through the pipes in my shower. I put out food for Mr. and Mouse, and the dog partook immediately. "Could have fed the damn dog, at least," I muttered, and opened the fridge. I rummaged through it, but couldn't find what I was after anywhere, and it was the last straw. My frustration grew into a fire somewhere inside my eyeballs, and I straightened from the icebox with mayhem in mind. "Hey," came Thomas's voice from behind me. "We're out of beer." I turned around and glared at my half-brother. Thomas was a shade over 6 feet tall, and I guess now that I'd had time to get used to the idea, he looked something like me. Stark cheekbones, a long face, a strong jaw. But whatever sculptor had done the finishing work on Thomas had foisted my features off on his apprentice or something. I'm not ugly or anything, but Thomas looked like someone's painting of the forgotten Greek god of body cologne. He had long hair, so dark that light itself could not escape it, and even fresh from the shower, it was starting to curl. His eyes were the color of thunder clouds, and he never did a single moment of exercise to earn the gratuitous amount of ripple in his musculature. He was wearing jeans and no shirt, his standard household uniform. I once saw him in the same outfit answer the door to speak to a female missionary, and she'd assaulted him in a cloud of forgotten copies of the Watchtower. The tooth marks she left had been interesting. It hadn't been the girl's fault entirely. Thomas had inherited his father's blood as a vampire of the White Court. He was a psychic predator, feeding on the raw life force of human beings, usually easiest to gain through the intimate contact of sex. That part of him surrounded him in the kind of aura that turned heads wherever he went. When Thomas made the effort to turn up the supernatural come-hither, women literally couldn't tell him no. By the time he started feeding, they couldn't even want to tell him no. He was killing them, just a little bit. But he had to do it to stay sane, and he never took it any further than a single feeding. He could have. Those the White Court chose as their prey became ensnared in the ecstasy of being fed upon, and became increasingly enslaved by their vampire lover. But Thomas never pushed it that far. He'd made that mistake once, and the woman he had loved now drifted through life in a wheelchair, bound in a deathly euphoria because of his touch. I clenched my teeth and reminded myself that it wasn't easy for Thomas. Then I told myself that I was repeating myself.